Now, the hook I'm going to be using, this is basically a fully mill hook. It's called the all-purpose medium and it's a size 14. Now I'm using a traditional silk. This is the Pearsall's Silk. As you can see, it's an inset green. It's a great colour for this fly, and I mean, you don't necessarily have to use a traditional silk. You could use a standard, like a uni thread, an 8O, an inset green type colour, which work, or an olive. But this works really well. So the first thing I'm going to do is just run the wax through, especially that being silk, sorry. As you run it back onto the spool, you wipe your fingers through it and that will take the excess away. Now I'm going to start about a mil away from the eye. We start to work down and then remove the waste. I'm going to wind the thread until I meet the point of the hook. Just there. So basically when I let the thread go, you'll see it's in line with the point. Now the dubbing I'm using as a blend of my own. I use it in a lot of flies and it works really well for me. Now for the Grannom, this is a good colour. It's basically hare's body fur and hare's mask blended together, and there's a tiny bit of UV, I don't know if you can see it there, just catch the light, just not much, just a Lite-Brite UV dubbing, just to catch the light. Now what I'm going to do is just sit it onto the thread, and then from the bottom, so it's just basically sitting a spin and let it rope itself, but don't put my fingers on it. You're going to lose a wee bit, but don't worry about it, you don't want too much. Just let it dangle up itself. There is the wax on the thread that will do that. And as you wind up, I can always keep my thread away. It just gives it a better body, and for this caddis it works really well. Leave it really loose. If you can get a bit of taper in it, then fine. But if you don't worry about it. Just using my fingers like Velcro, if you want to call it, and just draw back some of the fibres. Now as you catch the fish, it will thin out slightly, but don't worry. Then for the hackle I'm using, this is a Woodcock. It's a Woodcock wing, and at the back, the inside of the wing, you get these lovely feathers, these nice well marked feathers, and these are perfect for the Grannom. Now I've obviously taken one away. Now I can actually get 3 flies for 1 feather. I know it sounds a bit, how do you do that, but what I do is I'm going to wind this one on to show you, but what I take away, I can actually get another couple of flies. The fibrets here I can roll on, and I can get, I'll show you one I've done. There's a couple of other variants. This is the Greensleeves, but there's, if you look at that, that's just rolled on. The fibres that's left at the bottom. Normally what I would do is to spring them straight out, tear it away and set it on my desk. Do it with the other side, set it on my desk, and then I'd get a fly out of what's left. Now I'm going to wind the hackle. So what I'm going to do is locate the point of the feather using the hackle pliers and draw back what the fibres I need. Get my scissors, trim this to a length that I've got at least a mil and an area to tie this on. Now I want a wee bit of fibre. Just going to keep a wee bit of fibre there, it will tie in far better and stronger. Now the thread, just make sure there's wax on it. And there's 3 turns there. So get hold of the hackle, draw it back, and I'm just going to wind till I've basically run out of hackle fibre. I'm representing the caddis, so it's quite a big or a bulky fly. It's a traditional wet fly, but it does represent like the hatching pupa coming off of the Grannom. It does, because it works for me. Trim away the waste, keep it out, and then I'm going to tie in Peacock Herl. It's got a single strand. Now this is a variant of the fly called the Greensleeves. I'll show you that once I've finished this. Again, make sure you wax your thread. Now I've trimmed the end of it to make it to square up the fibres, so that when I basically catch this on a single turn, pull it in, I don't have any fibres going by the eye. I've got a straight cut. A couple of turns to hold. Now I'm going to wind this round the thread. Now all I do is get the thread beside the herl and let the thread go loose. Don't have it tight, just twist it so it ropes round the actual thread. And then what we do is just build it up. So we get that. A sort of small thorax, if you want to call it. It's very, very tight. But what I'm doing here is just drawing back the fibres. When I get to there, I just unravel, turn it back, and round, and then bring the thread up. You don't want it too far away. Just make sure you catch it in. A couple of turns. Draw back anything going forward. Now I usually just go straight in and wet finish. Just draw anything that wants to go into the eye. There we go. Trim the thread away. Trim the peacock Herl away. And there we are. Just to show you now, I've flattened it a wee bit with pulling it a bit, but that gives you a very pupa-like, caddis pupa-like shape, especially in the water, and this works really well when the Grannom is coming off of it. Tying different sizes will represent other flies as well. So what we want to do now is just a very light varnish just onto the thread, onto the head, just to make sure it's set. The wax can hold it as well. The wax is, once you're basically finished, it's good. And just make sure the eye is clear. Just using a piece of wire here. And there we are. Now there's an odd stiff fibre there, I'll just take that one out there. So there we go. And basically that's a good pattern or a traditional wet fly tied to represent the caddis pupa of especially the Grannom. And I say that from this fly here, this is the fly that I've been tying. This is called the Greensleeves. This is the actual pattern, an old pattern, and that's a variant. So I would fish both of these. I'd fish this one the dropper and this one the point, and it works really, really well. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's a simple fly, great fun to tie, and catches lots of fish.